Jesus. Anyways, on that note, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode from the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host Marcie.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know where to start because I don't know where. We were talking about some little Leaf things before we started recording, but mostly that's because I was playing Internet Sleuth with my own neighborhood. I guess we could talk about that just so we can get it out of the way, because I think if we leave it till the end of the show, we could end up just going down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
So if you're on Twitter, which I'm sure if you listen to the show with us, you are, there is a picture that was posted by Twitter user Vinterista _ saying Marner and Berube having coffee this morning in Etobicoke. And then it's a picture of Mitch Marner and Craig Berube in some coffee shop, cafe thing. I don't recognize where it is, to be honest. And I don't know. And then, of course, obviously, then everyone in the replies and everyone on Leafs Twitter automatically becomes body language experts. Because you're also looking at said picture, right?
Yeah.
Right now. I don't know. People think automatically because Berube is sitting there with his arms crossed that it's bad, and that it means that Marner is halfway to packing up his bags and moving has already contacted a moving company to help him move out of his house in Toronto. Which
considered that he just doesn't know what to do with his hands? Because I am someone who routinely sits with my arms crossed because I don't actually know what to do with my hands.
Has anyone ever interacted with a 50-something-year-old white man? Because this is exactly what it looks like when I have a conversation with my father.
Yeah, it's like...
And it'd be actually a pretty nice conversation with my dad that doesn't end in me just getting annoyed at him over his opinions on the Leafs, which has been most of them recently. But that's what I mean. Has anybody ever interacted with a 50-something-year-old white man? Probably most of the guys in the replies are 50-something-year-old white men, in which I would say look in a mirror.
Mm-hmm. It's like, come on.
Also, is he wearing oh, he's also wearing flip-flops. Mitchell. Why are you barefoot? Where are your socks? You're meeting with, that's the thing where I'm you're meeting with, your new head coach. You could put on some proper footwear at least.
My favorite thing is...
That's the only thing I'm criticizing him for.
My favorite thing is the complete divide between what they're how they're dressed. You've got Mitch, who looks totally like every guy on my course ever, who's just woken up, fallen out of bed, and found himself sat in my lecture. And then you've got a well-dressed man.
Yeah, but you've got I will say though, this is pretty indicative of what the weather is in Southern Ontario. Southern Ontario right now, because you either could dress in shorts and a t-shirt and get away with it, or you could wear long pants and long sleeve and a sweater on the same day.
Ugh. The weather's weird at the moment. We've had weird weather the last few days. We've had a really lovely, sunny, shorts, t-shirt. I could go sit in the park and get a tan. And then the last 2 days, 3 days, rain.
Well, I had a lovely. It was a lovely weekend. We got up to 35 degrees last week. in Toronto. I had like the shorts. I was doing the shorts and the tank top. It was great. I was like, ooh, you know, maybe I'll go look for some sundresses. I'll do a little bit of retail therapy this week and look for some sundresses. And then today, torrential downpour tornado watch in the Ottawa region.
Yay!
I haven't heard anything about a tornado. I also like have been in class for the past 3 hours. And it's a class where I like don't check my phone because I don't even have my phone out during that class because the professor is pretty strict about it. And also, I get really into that class. Anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna read too much into it except for, you know what, gonna take it as a positive sign that they're meeting, like that, you know, that in both directions of the fact of like Mitch Marner potentially sticking around, like the fact that he's meeting with his head coach, but also in the fact that like Craig Berube wants to like get to know his players. Well, here he is meeting with them, like one-on-one, having a conversation.
Yeah. It's
right.
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign. I'm gonna take it in the positive way, like look at it silver lining. I will say though, whatever cafe this is desperately needs to get new chairs or move away from the pleather.
Oh,
but like the thing that's the thing that really confused
cafes.
They don't last as long. Like that's the thing. Is like pleather in cafes is always a bad idea because it will always look gross and peely like it does in this picture.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is I would love to know what cafe in Toronto has giant TV screens like that. Because in Etobicoke specifically, because I cannot place one. For those who are uninitiated with the lore, Etobicoke is my neck of the woods, where I grew up in Toronto. A West End girl, and like I went to high school like 10 minutes away from the Leafs practice facility. So that's why I saw like Etobicoke and I was like, oh, I know where that is. Like that's why I was like trying to figure out if I know where that is. You know, I may actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to do my own research after the episode. I may potentially know where that is, but I'm not 100% sure. The only thing that's throwing me off is like it looks like it's quite, anyways, I'm so confused by it because they have like takeout cups, but like takeout coffee cups, but also it looks like a sit down restaurant. And also like there's a giant TV screen in the corner and the glass barriers, like that looks like it's like right, like that's the entrance. I don't know. They very obviously did not want to be bothered though, because they are hidden half behind a wall. So
yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. Also as well, I don't know if you saw this from Chris Johnson. He put out an article that it was just a list of a bunch of free agents and like predicted salaries and things like that for them. While we're on the topic of the Leafs, and I just want to point this out because, and I know predictions and of player salaries are very unrealistic and often very heavily rumored, and sometimes it even comes from like the players' camp themselves, like their agent being like, hey, put this really high absurd number so that we can maybe trick a team into overpaying my player that I represent, right? Yeah. And that's where I think this came from, where it was the fact that it was like Chris Johnson who put out that Domi and Bertuzzi could both be looking at a $5.5 to $6 million multi-year deal. And I thought that was crazy. Maybe not for Tyler Bertuzzi, but for Max Domi, I was like, that's just asking for people to like get mad about it.
Yeah, that's like asking to get bullied.
That's you know you want engagement on Twitter when you say that. And I can think of like a million smarter things that I could say on Twitter that'll get the same amount of engagement, but without saying something so asinine. Because it's like, he was on a $3 million prove it deal, which obviously those $3 million like 1 year prove it deals are not totally reflective of the actual value of a player. Like, it usually is an undervaluation when it comes to those sort of contracts, because it's like the player is like, I want to play and I want to be able to showcase that I can play. Pay, like, what can you give me, sort of thing, which is exactly what I feel like the Max Domi deal was. Gonna say it. Because I'm sure he probably had a list of offers of similar deals and he picked Toronto because he wanted to play in Toronto. And I'm sure, honestly, I think probably the Dallas Stars offered him, and you could be like, I don't know, you're stupid for saying this. I think probably the Dallas Stars offered him the same deal and he said no because Toronto offered him a deal and he wanted to play in Toronto instead of Dallas. Am I crazy for saying that? Am I crazy for suggesting that?
It does make sense.
Yeah. Sometimes I just feel like I'm like like I'm like making these assumptions and I'm like, someone's got to agree with me. But yeah, I don't know. But I think like a 5.5 for Max Domi would be an overpayment because he's an incredibly replaceable player in terms of you can probably find about 5 of him in the NHL in other teams in various forms, especially to fulfill the role that you want him to fulfill with the Leafs and with the Austin Matthews of it all, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, I love him to pieces. However, I don't want to say he's not just a vibes guy, but
look, the thing is like Leaf fans last season kept talking about how we needed a Matthew Tkachuk. We needed a Matthew Tkachuk-esque player, right? We need someone like how Florida has Matthew Tkachuk. Well, we can't afford Matthew Tkachuk. The Leafs, in the way that they are structured with this forward group and with the core 4 system that the Leafs last year after they fired Dubas were never going to move away from as much as we wanted them to. It was never going to happen after Dubas was fired, unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, depending on how you see things, what side of that you're on. So obviously you can't bring in Matthew Tkachuk. Not that even like Matthew Tkachuk was an option for you to bring in. I'm sure Florida did not want to part ways with Matthew Tkachuk, but you get in my dream, like in your ideal world where you can land yourself a Matthew Tkachuk and all you had to worry about was salary space. So Treliving goes out and he gets the next best thing, which is Matthew Tkachuk at $3 million. Matthew Tkachuk at $3 million is Max Domi, which, you know what, maybe it's a coincidence that both of them played with Mitch Marner on the London Knights.
I mean,
but you were able, right? And so therefore, with a $3 million Matthew Tkachuk, you get what you paid for in a $3 million Matthew Tkachuk, which is Max Domi, which Max Domi will never be Matthew Tkachuk, but you will get some of that, just not to the highest, like just not to such a high skill level, but you will still get the same role vibe. Or like, a position will get filled based on the profile that you have laid out.
Yeah, exactly.
Would I be okay with, like, if we're going to re-sign Max Domi, I'd be perfectly happy if it was a if you kept him at $3 million and just were like, here's more term. Is that likely? Probably not. 3.5 I would also be not mad at. 4 I could deal with.
Anything upwards of 4, you're just like, is this?
Yeah, if you're going on the
like anything upwards of 4, you're sitting them down and saying, is this the best use of the little money we have left?
And yes, we get more because the cap goes up, but you also think about, hey, we're also losing a lot, and you also still have a lot of roles, especially on the blue line, left to fill. You know, I'm sure you're not bringing back TJ Brody, obviously, like we've talked about in other episodes, but you've got $18 million left to fool around with, but you also have to think about like Matthews and Nylander are both going up, and you also have, you know, a couple other guys that you want to have stick around, like Connor Dewar. I'm sure Treliving doesn't want to lose Connor Dewar.
No, we can't lose him.
We can't lose Dewar.
We can't lose him.
You know, there's also questions about Timothy Liljegren, and there's goaltending. Big fat question mark there.
Big question mark.
Obviously, you have, like, you probably, like, it's all camp performance dependent, but, you know, you have potentially options in Minton and Cowan, of course.
Which, I'm so excited to see them when they play with the Leafs.
Me too. Me too. I mean, you can watch Cowan in action still at the Mem Cup. London Knights won their first game against.
They did.
Saginaw? Are they playing Saginaw or are they playing Drummondville? They weren't playing Moose Jaw. I know that. I watched a little bit of that game. I was busy. It wasn't. They play Moose Jaw tonight. London plays Moose Jaw tonight. I think that'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, that'll be one to watch.
Yeah, it was Drummondville. They shut out Drummondville. So
ouch.
Yeah. And then so then they go Moose Jaw and then Saginaw.
I'm so excited to watch. I can't wait.
Yeah, the game tonight is at 7:30 Eastern. So I guess it gives you a little bit of something to watch before Dallas Edmonton.
I'm so annoyed that I'm not gonna be awake long enough to watch all of Dallas Edmonton, which is annoying because I really want to, but I'll catch up on it tomorrow at some point.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I guess that's it on the Leafs front. I don't know. The Leafs to me are just, it's one of those teams where it's like, I don't know. There's too many options in the way of like everyone has a different solution.
Yeah.
But also then there's a very common solution, which is very unrealistic.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's like there's so many different ways that we could see like them going, but none of we genuinely no one actually knows what's gonna happen. Like with some teams it's predictable and you're like, yeah, like we know kind of what they're gonna do. No clue. It's like it's a wait and see thing, and I hate that because I am impatient and also very anxious all of the time.
Well, that's the thing is that, and I was talking to this about someone yesterday, actually, just briefly, where it was like, this is kind of like the worst time of the season, because the Leafs are out, as a Leafs fan right now, like the Leafs are out of the playoffs. So we're not watching the Leafs play hockey. And so also it's before the draft and before free agency. So you just are sort of stuck in this like weird limbo, almost purgatory, I guess, if you're on Leafs Twitter, where it's everyone is just stating their opinions, a lot of which are wrong, about where they think the Leafs should go, and it just results in like trade Mitch Marner, like, which is easier said than done. You can go as heavy as you want on the, like, armchair GM on Cat Friendly and like hypothetical trades and be like, no, this obviously is going to work, but it's just not. And like, you're only really making it worse for yourself this time of year. Like, people are bored, and it's worse now than it is like mid-August.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of like nothing going on.
I think it's hit the point already, which is not a good sign, where whenever I see the words trade Mitch Marner, I think I lose a good 5 years of my life.
I see trade Mitch Marner, and I honestly have just started closing Twitter.
And I see it, and I'm just like, it's good stuff. I kind of just like stop registering the words trade Mitch Marner because I see it so much, and it.
Because like, this is like, I know. Why is that your only solution? That's a lazy cop-out solution.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's a lazy cop-out solution.
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's like when I think I said at one point last year that last season, I should say, the reason why Michael Bunting can never draw any calls is because a lot of the NHL refs get jealous of him, because he is essentially the success story of all of their paths. And then people got mad at I didn't say it. I don't think people got mad at me, but I said it once, and someone was like, well, you're not wrong, but also like quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Also, then it's of course also as well the Nazem Kadri effect. Yeah, I guess we can talk about like actual playoff hockey.
Yay!
New York Rangers are up 2-1 in their series against Florida after their dramatic blowout loss in Game 1 on the 2 back-to-back overtime wins. Noted OT heroes Barclay Goodrow, Alex Wenberg. Okay, first of all, I was told that Goodrow was a waste of space. That's what I spent all season hearing from Rangers fans, is that he should not be on the team. That they all hated him.
Well. Oh, how the turntables.
Oh, how the turntables. But yeah, so you know what? It doesn't, in the playoffs, if you win in overtime, it doesn't matter. Not doesn't matter, but like, it's not like, yeah, win is a win. There's no difference in value in terms of in the playoffs between an OT win and a regulation win. It's not like the regular season, where even like an OT loss like means a little bit more than just a regulation loss, because you get that extra loser point, I guess. Yeah. So a win is a win. I will say, the series is heating up for sure. Jacob Trouba was fined $5,000, which is the maximum allowable amount under the CBA, for an elbow to Rodriguez in Game 3. Should have been a penalty, and then we wouldn't be here.
Like, even my housemate, because I saw the clip on Twitter, and I was like sat with my housemate, and she watched it with me, and she was like, "Ooh, you can't do that." And I'm not being funny.
No.
If someone who's never watched a minute of hockey in their life can watch that and say, oh, you really should not be getting away with doing that. That says a lot. And it's like, you just can't be doing that. Like,
no.
And then
it's the part is, I was just gonna say, it's the part as well where it's like people then are like, oh, should have been a game, which like in the regular season, yeah. I don't, it's just because like Department of Player Safety and the rules and everything go out the window in the playoffs where nothing makes sense anymore. And also as well, like at the end of the season, we should know that consistency is arbitrary.
Yeah.
This is the Department of Player Safety having like almost like a bingo board of just different punishments in different little squares. They're closing their eyes, they're taking a dart and they're throwing it at it. And whatever thing it lands on, there's the punishment. There's the supplementary discipline.
Yeah, it's thing is what I saw like loads of people today being like, oh, well, Trouba's a really good guy off the ice because everyone was like slating him for, doing something they very much shouldn't have done. It was like, oh, he's a great guy off the ice. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. He's still doing things that are very much dangerous intentionally. Like, I don't care if he's the nicest person on the planet. You still can't do that. And everyone's like, oh yeah, but he's a really good guy off the ice. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. Like, it's completely irrelevant. And if that's your only defense, I think that says quite a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, my thing was just like, it was really funny to see the like Rangers fans who were like should have gotten a game but it would have been too much of a reward to the Rangers to be forced to not play Jacob Trouba for a game. and then there was of course those one or two people who think they know better and is like, actually it's not even a penalty. Like, no, that was a penalty. At least.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should have been a.
Yeah, I think I've actually been, because I've like had exams and stuff recently. I've not been spending as much time on Twitter, and you know what?
You feel better about yourself.
It has been so good for my mental health.
Look, the Indy 500 was yesterday, and I purposely did not have Twitter open very much during that race, and I was just, putting my thoughts elsewhere about the 500, and it was probably the most like peaceful 3 hours of my life. And that's saying something because I was watching the Indy 500, so probably I still was like freaking out, but like I just was also not angry at the world. I was just stressed about the fact that I'm watching the Indy 500, and that experience in and of itself is extremely stressful.
Yeah.
But I will say though, Joseph Newgarden won again for the second year in a row, which does mean perhaps we will get another Indy 500, IndyCar, I shouldn't say Indy 500, IndyCar Pittsburgh Penguins crossover like we did last year, because his Newgarden's main car sponsor for most of the year, besides the 500, is PPG Paints, which is where the Pittsburgh Penguins play in PPG Paints Arena. So I don't know. Please. Put like two fine specimen of athletic performance in Joseph Newgarden and Sidney Crosby next to each other. Like, when you get the Ken dolls and you dress them up and you just have them sit next to each other.
And you just like, oh, do.
Yeah.
And then you end it and you just make them kiss. That is exactly what we're going for.
No, I don't know. I don't know about Sidney Crosby because honestly, I do not know anything about that man's personal life. But Joseph Newgarden is married and has a child. Filth.
That's never stopped anyone before.
Oh my God. I bring up IndyCar one time on this podcast, and it leads to you suggesting that we make Joseph Newgarden and Sidney Crosby kiss.
Yeah. And do you know the best thing about it? I don't have a clue who Joseph Newgarden is.
Picture essentially like Chris Evans if he had the same neck as Matthew Nyes.
Okay, right.
Just look up a picture of Joseph Newgarden. This is why you need to actually watch IndyCar. If this is anything, if Marcie learns anything from this conversation, is that she actually needs to watch IndyCar so that she knows who Joseph Newgarden looks like. I want to clip just that. Oh I'm going to go back. Okay, well, we're at what? 31? We're at 31 minutes. Going to go back and I'm going to clip this part and I'm going to...
Is his wife, like, single?
Oh, are you now? Yeah, his wife is also really hot, too. Like, yeah. Yeah. Extremely, extremely beautiful individual people.
Oh my God, hey. I need them to, like, see me from across the bar and really like my vibe.
I talk about IndyCar one time.
It's me. I don't know what you're expecting.
You know what? Maybe this is just how we get you to watch IndyCar.
Yeah.
Show you pictures of the entire grid.
just like slowly like slip them into conversation, just like, oh no, how did I send this picture to the group chat? Oh, how did that happen? And I'll be like, who's that? Who's that?
Well, you've seen pictures of. We're friends with Cal. You've seen pictures of Colton Herta.
Yeah, but
Colton Herta just also looks like a mixture of Owen Power and Jamie Drysdale, and Cal will murder me if he knew that I said that. But luckily for me, Cal does not listen to the podcast.
Exactly. There's some benefits to it.
I'm trying to like who else. Man. Anyways, this is where you need to like actually look at the one channel in the Discord server that you do not check.
I mean, there's a fair few, which makes it sound like you ignore people. I check them when I get like mentioned.
But yeah.
But like, I mostly just stick to like 4 or 5 that I check regularly. Because too many notifications stress me out and then make me want to cry.
Anyways, also back on the topic of the New York Rangers.
Oh yeah, back to what we were actually talking about.
In game 3, Jimmy Vesey left the game early due to an upper body injury and will not make the trip to game 4. No, will not make the game 3. Will not play in game 4.
Mm.
And it's R.I.P. Jimmy Vesey.
Do you reckon he's like sat at home eating vanilla
bagels? I was gonna say plain bagels.
Vanilla ice cream, so it's same vibe. But no, that sucks for him. I'm trying to think. I saw something recently that actually like had me just thinking about him, which doesn't usually happen. And I can't for the life of me.
Sounded like Sheldon Keefe there in that sentence.
Oh god.
Sorry, we love Jimmy Vesey here.
Yeah, we love you, Jimmy.
I don't know. We'll see if Blake Wheeler, who apparently is cleared to return from injury. We'll see if he plays game 4.
Mm.
He hasn't played since February 15th.
Oof. Ouch.
But
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But
yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
come back to us, Jimmy.
I don't know. He'll be week to week, so. Oh. Could that be Jimmy Vesey's season? Like even if the Rangers make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, could that be Jimmy Vesey's season?
It could be.
Jimmy Vesey.
Shit.
Yeah. Dallas and Edmonton.
Dallas and Edmonton.
I don't have much to say about this except like Dallas tied it up. And also Rupe Hintz is still day today and is a game time decision for tonight. Do you have more to add?
Not really. I think I just go Stars go. Which I've realized everything I've said about this series makes me sound so violently like anti-Edmonton. I'm not. I enjoy watching the Oilers. I want to see Dallas win. And it'd be funny to see them sad.
See, like that's the thing where I'm like, I'd like Dallas to win. I mean, like, yeah, sure, the last time Dallas was in a Stanley Cup final was the bubble against Tampa. But like, no one remembers that.
Yeah, does it really count?
Yeah. No. Well,
technically, yeah, but do people remember it? No.
No. You could probably put any Western Conference team and be like, that's who Tampa won against, and people would probably believe you.
Yeah. They'd be like, yeah.
Within reason, of course, but. But yeah, I don't know. I just like for also as well, and this is as someone who like lives in Canada. I'm sick of people being like, well, Edmonton's the last Canadian team left. Shouldn't you be cheering for them? I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Like, sorry. No. Edmonton's not even a team that I like all that much. Like, just because half their roster is former Leafs doesn't mean that there's the Leafs.
Like, it can be almost the Leafs, but it's still very much not.
They're not. They don't have a maple leaf on their sweater. They have whatever weird logo Edmonton has. I know what the Edmonton Oilers logo looks like. It's just hard to describe. I was about to say they have oil on their jersey. That's not what it is.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. Also, like, and I will say though, to look at this from like, and this is a little bit of like sports broadcasting, like communications, is like, you know, I think also like from a TV perspective, sure, okay, I'm sure like the Canadian broadcasters would very much like Edmonton to win because their viewership sees a major drop off when there's no Canadian teams in the playoffs. But like, I'm not Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I just want to see
so
Dallas.
that means I would like to see Dallas win as well. I like more of the players on Dallas. Yeah, so game 3 is tonight. So in Edmonton. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Well, on last week's Monday, I say in quotation episode, because it actually was recorded and posted on Tuesday last week because holiday Monday, and also I had a life. Surprise, surprise, I don't just sit around and like scroll through Twitter and like watch hockey all day as much as it seems like I do.
No, you also talk to me. So.
Yeah, true. But I do other things. So, but yeah, so that's what, anyways, we talked about how and this felt like really weird when this news came out. I was like, no way. Because we talked about the Carolina Hurricanes. And we took a gander at their Cat Friendly page. And I think we said like, what would like not envy being Don Waddell in charge of this roster. Well, it turns out Don Waddell also would not envy being Don Waddell and has stepped down as the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. He truly said, "It's not my monkeys if it's not my circus."
Yep.
And made it not his circus. It's rumored that he will be announced in like the next couple of days as the president of hockey ops for the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is also a team that is in like a tough direction, but he's not the GM there, so he has to make less decisions about that sort of thing. But
it's if anyone has anyone from their hockey team that they want to leave, let us know. We'll talk about them.
Yeah, no, like I don't know if there's someone in your team's front office that you don't like. We will know. Yeah.
We'll do our bit.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean like Don Waddell, what? He's old.
Yeah.
Oh, actually no, he's 65. I said, oh, he's not old. He's 65.
I thought he was older than that. I don't know why.
I mean, like, you can retire at 65. He just works in hockey, so he will not retire at 65.
Yeah. He'll be around for a while.
Yeah. I think some of it was like I don't know why, but I will say like we said last time, I think that, you know what, that makes Carolina even more of a interesting team to look at this summer, because they're operating with they've operating with Eric Tulsky as their interim GM, which I guess probably is just like to make it like less obvious that they're like, you know, he's ready to be in charge of an NHL team. But like, for those who don't know, like Eric Tulsky's origins in hockey, he used to run a blog that was very stats heavy about the Philadelphia Flyers, and then eventually got hired into like the NHL world based on his blog into like by NHL teams and analytics. And of most recently was like by the Carolina Hurricanes. And then before being named interim GM was the assistant general manager more so with a focus on analytics. But yeah, which is such a cool story.
It is.
Yeah, not that I think that we will be offered jobs based off of our Twitter pages.
What?
That being said,
they're drafting emails to us now.
That being said, if you are an NHL team or a professional hockey team that is looking to hire us for whatever role you see fit, slide into our DMs. Email's always in the description box of each episode.
Yeah, just hit us up. You know, you never know.
Hit us up. We can obviously, we're obviously good into a mic, and we have other applicable skills. Yeah, Marcy's pretty good with Canva.
Obviously, I'm a graphic design expert. What can I say?
But yeah, I think it's just cool that you go from like a guy who has a blog about the Philadelphia Flyers to being named interim GM of an NHL team.
Yeah,
it's cool. He also graduated from Harvard and has like a crazy degree in something or other. So he is also a very smart man, but it's just cool.
It is. Things we love to see.
Things we love to see. I guess we can stick with the NHL news in terms of hiring and not like and things like that. The Jets have announced their new head coach. Former Jet. He played, but like for the old franchise, for the franchise that is now in Utah. I almost slipped up and said Coyotes. I almost said Arizona Coyotes. And then I caught myself. I was like, no, they're now in Utah now, which is so stupid because then also as well, like all of the records from the old Winnipeg Jets like stick with. Yeah. Now we're in like the third city. I'm not gonna say anything, but like, so stupid. Yeah. But yeah, so Scott Arniel, who is their associate coach. I know the difference between associate and assistant coach? Absolutely not. Of the Winnipeg Jets for the past 2 seasons. I can't tell you much about him besides he played for the old Winnipeg Jets, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Boston Bruins, and then also used to be the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Can tell you nothing else about the man. Sorry.
That's about as much as I could tell you.
Also as well, it's just to briefly touch on it, highly rumored that the former the head coach of the Seattle Kraken's AHL affiliate, the Coachella Valley Firebirds, Dan Bylsma is rumored to be named new head coach for them to replace RIP Dan Hackstall. It's not dead, just got fired. But yeah, Dan Bylsma, former head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who he was their head coach when they won their 2009 Stanley Cup, and also as well Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo.
For a couple years.
Fun.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I got from his Wikipedia page. It was one of those things where it's like Sportsnet was a notification was like, hey, here's this rumor.
And it's like, okay.
I guess PWHL or Worlds. What do you want to talk about?
Oh,
I mean, there's the Canucks injury list.
There's the Canucks.
Forgot I had that at the end of my notes here.
Yeah. Ugh.
You get to pick. I got 3 options for you: PWHL, Worlds, or Canucks.
I think let's get Canucks injuries out of the way because I don't want to think about them.
Yeah, so the Canucks, the Vancouver Canucks, after we did Thursday's episode, they had their media availability after we recorded, which was very rude of them. No, I'm just kidding. It was the 3-hour time difference between my time. I was gonna say it was, well, it's 8 hours for you.
Yeah.
But Marcie's essentially living in my time zone at this point.
Yeah. I really am.
You texted me morning. I had already been up for 2 hours today.
Yeah, I was.
Just so you know, you texted me good morning, and I'd already been awake for 2 hours.
I hadn't just woken up.
Sure.
Sorry. I will not.
I'm a little disappointed that I'm not your first text in the morning. You don't wake up and you're like, oh, I should text Emma good morning.
Well, I mean, you're generally one of the only people I message anyway. Apart from, like, my mum.
Yes.
So, like,
I'm on the list. When the list goes, your mom and me.
that's how you know it's getting bad. No, I had not only just woken up when I messaged you at almost 5 p.m. I was like, I spent all day doing work and like cleaning. Thank you very much. I enjoy sending you a good morning text like right before it hits midday for you.
It's always funny when I get that. It's like 11:30 and I'm like, I've been out of bed for 2 hours. I've been awake for longer than that. Usually I wake up and then I scroll through Twitter in the morning and get all mad. And then I scroll through TikTok and then I get mad and then I check Instagram and then I get mad. Not mad, I don't get mad at Instagram. I like run out of look at on Instagram. So then I get bored.
You just go like,
Then I scroll through Facebook Marketplace.
fun.
Hey, look, Facebook Marketplace is a fun place to. Remember when I found the amphibibus for just like like if you had. There's a bug in your room, isn't there? Yeah. Vancouver. Vancouver Canucks injuries. Jesus. Yeah. So here we go. Elias Pettersson said that he was playing with a bad knee since January. That he just needs time and rest for it to heal. Apparently, I saw another tweet where it was like tendonitis in the knee, which sucks. Hey, as someone with both, like with 2 bad knees, it like sucks because, you know, sometimes you can like do the stuff you can do, it just hurts to do it. So then you're like that would explain so much about his lack of production.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So I feel for him as someone with shitty knees.
As someone,
just nothing works properly. Yeah.
We should rename this to just the Shitty Knee Podcast. Because
Shitty Knee Podcast. There is maybe one functioning knee between the 2 of us.
On a good day.
I was gonna say on a good day because today was not a good day for my knees. I spent too much time sitting down yesterday and today. Yeah, Brock Besser said that he blocked a shot in game 1 that bruised, and that it was about a week later that his calf started to hurt after game 6. A scan after game 6 showed enough clotting that prevented him from playing game 7. So that's the
story.
That's the story with Brock Besser. Like, makes total complete sense.
Which, you know, good vibes to him, because that sucks.
And then also as well, did you see Hronek's answer to he got asked a stupid question, Philip Hronek, and then he gave an answer. Did you not see that video? It was on Bar Down. Bar Down tweeted out a clip of it. He was asked a stupid question about, like, it was like, you know, what caused, like, what was, like, you know, your second half of your season was not good as the first half. What caused it? Was it like injury related, or what was it? Like, why did you play worse in the second half of the season? And then it was such a dumb question. And then he answered, and he was like, "Nothing. I didn't change anything about my game in the second half of the season. Were you injured? No, I was not injured. So you're telling me you just played worse?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you." It was just like a reporter being stupid. He asked a stupid question. He got a stupid answer. Like, his question was answered. You just were the guy who asked the dumbest question.
When will the stupid questions end? The answer is never. But oh dear.
But I will say, though, not the coolest, but like one of the things that did come out of that day was Shelva saying that he thinks he can try and learn a lot from Demko and would enjoy the opportunity to show that he can be the second guy. Which, like, I think these playoffs pretty much showed that. And you know, if he obviously there might be some regression to the mean, of course, just with a larger sample size of more games. But I do think that Arturi Shelva could be a very solid option for the Canucks to sort of balance the workload from Thatcher Demko, more so than they were able to do with Smith.
Massively.
Because obviously, I think the issue for Demko this season was just workload. Like, he just was playing too many games. Like, goaltenders can't play 82 games a season anymore.
No.
Because just the sport has changed. And the requirement of a goaltender, both physically, mentally, and just style-wise, has changed.
Yeah.
Hockey is not, like, you know, not the same as when Wayne Gretzky was playing.
And if there's one thing that I will always reiterate, it's don't overwork your goaltenders.
And I think you know, I think a tandem of those two could actually, you know, obviously implying that both of them stay healthy, both of them don't see a massive downturn in success. It could be a good option for Vancouver. Good. Yeah. I don't know. Canucks, some questions there. They've got a couple guys who are up for contract. None of their big guys now, with Pettersson signed to his new contract. So we'll see.
It will be.
I guess I don't know. Worlds or PWHL?
I think Worlds. So then we can have a lovely little natter about goalie interference again.
For like what, the third episode in a row? I'm so sick of talking about it.
We can't escape it.
I feel like I think like I just dropped something on the floor. I truly feel like we've talked about it every episode.
No, we've talked about it every episode for a while now. We will never know.
Anyways. But yeah, so Worlds, congratulations to Czechia for winning gold medal on home ice. I think that's pretty cool. Even though, you know, it wasn't Canada going for, well, they were going for the bronze medal. They lost to Sweden. You know what? Look, we did better than the US and we did better than Team GB. I call it bragging rights.
I mean, how much of a brag is we were better than Team GB? Because that's
okay, you know what?
Almost every other team that was there could say they were better than Team GB.
You know how I'm looking at this? Maybe finally we can stop inviting Jordan Bennington to world events.
Please.
Can we stop doing that? Please? I don't know why they kept playing him.
It is really enjoyable to watch.
You would Hoffer and Dawes
like that.
You would Hoffer and Dawes, and after like what? I think they each got a game and then they never played again in the tournament.
It's like
something was very obviously up with Connor Bedard, because why was he relegated to like 13th, 14th forward?
No,
near the end of the tournament.
Oh dear.
I will say though, it does excite me for Four Nations. I will say though, maybe they should make it 5 nations and invite Czechia.
Maybe, just maybe.
But yeah, like, makes me, I love, if there's anything I love, it's international hockey. It's also best on best hockey. Marcie knows very well my opinions on how excited I am for NHLers to be back at the Olympics next year. Well, 2 years.
I have not heard the end of it.
I think I bring up 2010 specifically at least once a day.
There's no escape. There truly is no escape.
What I do have to ask, wait. So like, okay, maybe this is such like a dumb, stupid question, but could Team GB like send a hockey team to the Olympics?
Yeah.
Because they would have to be in the top division of the IIHF rankings, right? So even though they got relegated, if they get promoted back next year, at next year's tournament, that would set them up to then be in that top division for the Olympics, right?
Yeah, one sec.
Am I stupid or am I not stupid?
No, yeah.
It was all part of the plan, guys.
It was all part of the plan.
They got relegated this year so that they can make it back next year, so they don't have the chance getting relegated next year and then not qualifying for the Olympics. I think that's how the Olympic qualification. It's something I've never personally had to worry about as a Canadian, about my country not qualifying for hockey for the Olympics.
No, there's August and September. There's the men's Olympic qualifiers.
Oh, it's a qualifier?
Right, now I don't want to be like wrong.
Here we go. Here's something I've got. IIHF 2026 Olympic men's qualifier set. The sites and dates for the men's qualifiers. Okay, it's do or die in these 3-game round-robin tournaments featuring 4 teams apiece. Teams are seeded by the world ranking based on received and qualified entries.
Yeah, because I've got
Well, this is where there was the game where Great Britain had played against Romania and China in Cardiff. You guys haven't made the Olympics since 1948?
Like, can you give us a
August.
break? Like, please? Yeah, because in December is the women's qualifiers.
How good is your women's team?
I don't know. I know that my dad's friend's daughter plays for Team GB, which is quite slow. But I mean, we're not, as we've seen in recent weeks, we're not the best. But we're also
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and Italy automatically gets this spot as the host. And then there's the final qualification tournaments in which there's 3 spots. I don't think you guys won. I'm looking at it's all color coded. And there's like final qualification tournaments, and you guys are not purple. You guys are blue. So maybe you guys aren't going. But maybe France could go. I don't think France would. I will say though, it'll be interesting because like out of these tournaments, it's like Austria, Slovenia, Slovakia, Latvia, Denmark, Norway, France, and Kazakhstan. But like there's some, I don't know, like Slovakia did a pretty good turnout. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I just love best on best, man. I do. I'm so excited for it.
Well, I'm so excited. Do you like best on best hockey by any chance?
Absolutely, I do.
Wow, you've never said that before. You've never mentioned it. Who'd have thought?
I've never mentioned it in any opportunity I get to bring up the Olympics and
no,
the
absolutely
NHL.
Not.
I think I was maybe like one of the happiest people on the internet when they announced that NHLers were going to the Olympics this year at the All-Star game.
Yeah, you were very.
I was tuned in to that into that press conference.
You were.
I put up with Gary Bettman for that press conference. I did, like, I actually did watch that entire press conference.
You are very brave.
Look, there's nothing that gets my there's nothing that, you know, instills more like national pride in me than the Olympics. I think I enjoy being Canadian sometimes, but then, you know, every 2 years the Olympic rolls around and I become the most insufferable person on the entire planet when it comes to Canadian sports.
Yeah.
Thing is Marcie hasn't experienced Olympic Emma.
I'm
yet.
Very, very
you will get to do it in August in full force.
I'm very afraid. Absolutely terrified. This could change the way I think about you forever.
Just wait until I start yelling about archery. Or the modern pentathlon.
Oh my.
I get really into I'm trying to think of like other just like random summer Olympic sports.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I get really into like kayaking. That's a sport.
I know it's a sport.
I know nothing about how breakdancing will be scored, but I'm very excited to cheer for Canada in breakdancing.
Oh.
But yeah, so Yeah, Czechia. And back to the world's conversation.
Yeah.
Czechia beat Switzerland in the gold medal game to win gold on the backs of a goal from David Pasternak and David Kampf.
David Kampf.
Blues legend David Kampf is a gold medal winner, scoring the empty net goal to seal the deal for Czechia in their 2-0 win over over Switzerland.
We love to see it. We really
do. We do. But yeah, it's good for David Kampf.
It is. Good for him.
Good for him. He deserves a win.
He does. Oh.
But yeah, and Canada lost to Pontus Holmberg and Sweden.
Which I don't want to say I'm happy about it, but teehee. Now you know. At least you also experienced the crushing feeling of watching your team lose. Hey, at least you're not relegated.
No, but like, you would have liked to see Michael Bunting win another medal at Worlds.
Oh no, I would, but I also enjoy watching you being miserable.
Wow, what great friends we are.
I'm sure you laughed at me when Team GB got relegated.
I did.
Let me have my fun. This is. I don't want to quote Jojo Siwa for a second
episode in a row.
But karma's a bitch.
I'm cutting that part out. I'm just bleeping that.
No.
Hey, you could do the editing. You could do the editing if you wanted to. You don't. I do, which means I get to make the decisions that I want to make.
But like, whatever. Whatever.
And I just like, you know what? Next time, don't invite Jordan Bennington.
No.
Literally invite any of the other Canadian goaltenders we have. I don't know. Stefan Levi. I don't know. There's got to be another one.
There are others. I don't know why my mind's just not thinking of them.
Stuart Skinner. Oh, well, no, he wasn't available. Neither was Aiden Hill. See, the problem is all of our good ones were busy. Or Marc-Andre Fleury.
Everyone's too busy.
Down. You know what? I just looked up. I got like active Canadian NHL goalies by career stats, and they're sorted by games played. Do you know who in the active in the NHL has played the fourth most NHL games
Hit me.
Among Canadian goaltenders. Leafs legend Martin Jones. With 466.
Oh.
Could have sent Martin Jones to Worlds.
We could have sent Martin Jones to Worlds.
Could have shared a flight with John Tavares.
Yeah.
Because we obviously needed him in the playoff. Why did we have to need him in the play? Anyways. Yeah. But yeah, no, he is.
On breaking news from
what?
Leafs legend Bobby McMahon.
Oh, is this about how he's alive? Is that the old? Is this the picture that I've already seen, or is there another one?
He's just posted on Instagram.
We still have PWHL stuff to talk about. We can't get distracted by Bobby McMahon. Oh, he's in Maine. He's in Portland, Maine.
Bobby.
Bobby.
He's alive.
He's alive. You can't send me that.
Oops.
I almost read that out loud on instinct. Cannot. Did he steal that hat from William Nylander though?
Probably.
Also,
Probably.
Rock and the bucket hat and the fanny pack, fashion king.
Honestly, style icon. No one's doing it like he is.
Anyways, we do have to not get through, but we still do have one more thing to talk about. And we were distracted by Bobby McMahon. Bobbert. I almost called her Bobbert. PWHL.
They're just kind of nice things. Or a normal game.
No, game 4 of the PWHL finals between Boston and Minnesota. Overtime. These playoffs have been like goaltender spotlight on the goaltenders. Incredibly low scoring. I think this is like the second game this playoffs, and there hasn't like each game is a 5-game series, and also there's only been one round before this. There's only 2 rounds of the playoffs because there's only 4 teams, and each series has been 5 games. But where we've been going into overtime with no score. No. Because it was once. No, this is the third time because it was once in the Montreal-Boston series, right?
Yeah.
And then it was once in the Toronto-Minnesota series because I watched the back half of that game because I heard that the front half was a snooze fest. And I wanted to watch London Knights instead. Not because I value the PWHL over London. One was boring and the other one had goals getting scored. You tell me what you would rather watch.
Goals.
Goals. And then one in this series, game 4. So yeah, third. Anyway, which is kind of crazy. I don't think that's like really that doesn't happen very often. But in overtime, Minnesota scores. They cheer, celebrate, gloves, helmets, sticks go flying, and then goal looks back, gets called back after that for goalie interference. Which, like, the more you watch it, the more yeah, that's goalie interference. But like,
come on.
I just can't, like, I can't find the right angle where you show me that. Was it Taylor Heisey who scored it?
I don't know.
I thought it, maybe, no, I don't think it was. I don't think it
No.
was Taylor Heisey. But, oh my God, I can't remember who. I definitely saw her name. I just don't remember it. I think it was something, I think it was like something, Sophie, Minnesota. I'm sure I could probably look it up. Roster, here you go. It was not Sophia Kunin, though. It was a hyphenated name.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, and I can't remember.
I feel so bad for not remembering. But I just like, so much has been happening in my brain. It was, hold on, I found it though. It was Sophie Jacks. So it was Taylor Heisey who did the interference, but it was Sophie Jacks who scored the goal. That's why I had Taylor Heisey in my brain. But so this is where I go, like, the top-down angle that would have shown you the trip was cut in too close to actually show you the trip. I say trip in the hypothetical sense because that's what a lot of people who are saying, like, no, it wasn't goalie interference, she was tripped. I'm like, yes, but like the top-down angle where you would have really actually seen if defenseman, again, I don't remember the Boston defenseman's name, but to see if like her stick made contact, like went into Taylor Heisey's skates, into her feet, it just, you didn't get that angle. It wasn't like that camera was cut in too close to the net. So you didn't see it. You just saw Heisey crashing into but I don't know, I just, yeah.
It's annoying.
It's annoying because it's like, it just is like another debate of like, what is goalie interference? Does anyone know? And I will say, like, there has been quite a few reffing missteps in like all season for the PWHL, I think. Like there's, like there's definitely some things where it's like the referee, and I'm not saying that it's like, I'm not saying the reffing has been awful. There's been a lack of consistency. It almost feels like there hasn't been enough communication coming down from the league on making sure that calls are getting called at consistently across the board. And it's been an all season thing. It's been maybe one of my bigger complaints with the PWHL this year has been the reffing. Right. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of fans who would agree with me.
Yeah, it's just frustrating more than anything.
We are rooting for Minnesota just because of our deep personal hatred for the city of Boston.
Yep.
Runs deep. And we may or may not be biased to the colors.
Yeah.
Just it coordinates nicely with our personal show branding.
Yeah, just a little bit. But no, I think it's annoying, but it does show. It also, like, very well shows the inconsistent reffing does not see gender. It happens to everyone.
Goalie interference is for gender equality.
So yeah, it's annoying because the one thing we want to see more of is consistency. And the one thing we're not getting any of is consistency. So it's a fun one. But it's just, I love how they can't ever be just a normal hockey game. Especially when it's like important ones like this.
I think like
it has to
the amount of this was a double OT. Like the amount of games in the PWHL playoffs that have gone to overtime has been crazy. I feel like it's been most of them except for like the two, well the like except for the few in the Toronto Minnesota series where it's like they've been shutouts. Not shootouts, shutouts.
Yeah, I mean, I like not having normal games because it gives us stuff to talk about and it makes it exciting. But also, like, please give us a break. Can we not have one nice thing? But no. I think it sucks for PWHL Minnesota as well because it's like they thought they'd won, so it wasn't even like just a normal game. It was shit. We did it, and then actually, I know you've like celebrated and you're having a great time, but actually, I hate to break it to you, goal didn't count.
I think I would actually genuinely, if I really celebrated thinking I won, like, because it's not even like, oh, it's just a game or like a playoff series or whatever. It's no. It was you won the cup, right? If I then celebrated that I had won the championship, throw my gloves up in the air, stick, helmet gone, whatever, and then had to pick it back all up and then go on continuing playing overtime, and then you lost in overtime, I'd kill myself. Like
you would see me on
I'd quit hockey altogether. Like I'd quit the sport. I'd be like, that's it, I'm done, I'm retiring. Thanks. Great season, guys. Never doing this again.
Yeah, it's like it was fun while it lasted, but like I also cannot do this.
No, like never again am I ever in my life doing this.
Oh.
But
and then to go into news as well.
To go in, yeah, that's the worst part. Is it wasn't even like it was like, oh, it went to triple overtime. It was very quickly after.
Yeah.
It was like it was so soon after. I would have been so done. Like I actually like that's the worst, because then you have to go back. Like you would have won it at home too, but instead no, now you have to go play it in Boston. Like I think what would be to really like knock on wood, but like then imagine losing game 5.
I think that'd be it for me.
Truly,
you would never
go jump into the harbor. I'd go jump into the harbor because they'd be in. I'd go jump into the Boston Harbor.
Oh, you'd
go
never
be with the tea. Straps. I don't. Go be with the tea in Boston Harbor.
Oh,
it'd be the worst. It would be like truly the worst experience ever.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
But another news related to the PWHL, apparently, not apparently. I don't want to say apparently it's not the word I'm looking for here, but PWHL, Jesus, team names could be announced this summer. I hope they're not bad. Please don't be bad. I spent the past.
You've been building it up for an entire season. You've gone, oh, we're gonna release the names. We've got the names.
We're gonna take our time with them. We're gonna make sure they're great. We're really gonna make sure that they're good names. And if they're bad, actually, you might see us on them.
Yeah. We will commit crimes.
We will. But yeah, so PWHL. Also as well, they announced their like eligibility list for the draft and when the draft was going to be, and also when the awards were going to be. I'm just trying to find that right now, and I'm not able to on their website. Why am I not able to find that? No, I just want to find out why. Sorry, okay, so the first thing I will say is that Amanda Kessel has declared eligibility for the PWHL draft this year.
Ooh.
That's the big name. That wasn't like one of the obvious names where it was someone coming over from the college program who was running out of eligibility, and so therefore like, oh, no way, this really good player in the NCAA is declaring their eligibility for the draft because they've run out of NCAA like eligibility years. No way.
It's like, whoa.
Who would have thought? That's an absolute shocker that this player would like to have the chance to play professional women's hockey after finishing their 5 years in the NCAA. Crazy concept. But yeah, no. So the draft and the awards will be held in St. Paul, Minnesota, June 10th and 11th, which is like 2 weeks away. So the draft will be held June 10th, Monday, June 10th at 6 p.m. Central, so that's 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the awards will be held Tuesday, June 11th at 12:30 p.m. Central, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Sure. Okay.
It'll be exciting.
But it is free to. It'll be free to attend the PWHL draft. A free digital ticket will be required, but you can obtain tickets for free if you are in the St. Paul area. I don't know. We are both not.
I am very much not.
Unfortunately, we still do not get paid to do this. And therefore do not have the money to go fly to St. Paul, Minnesota to attend the PWHL draft. And so therefore will not be there. But if you are in the St. Paul area, draft tickets are free and are available to the public in limited quantities beginning on May 29th at 2 p.m. Central. So, cool.
Yeah.
There's also like a VIP upgrade package for $125. That gets you access to a bunch of other stuff, things like that. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's weird that the draft is before the awards. But maybe I'm just used to the NHL system where the awards are before the draft.
Yeah, I think that would probably be it.
It probably has something to do with scheduling as well. I'm sure, like, and trying to find in spaces, like event spaces and things like that.
Yeah, that would be a big thing. But yeah. It'll be Exciting.
Oh, I do want to shout something out, and I know this is going to go straight to Simon's head because I brought it up, but I guess people, I talked about it on the podcast that he was in BC for a week, right? The thing he brought back, I got 2 souvenirs from him. One of them was a postcard he sent to my apartment that he beat back.
Yep, sounds about right.
Very much sums up the Canadian mail system right there. The other was a hockey puck from the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia.
Oh my god!
And I'm trying not to touch it too much while I've had it, because every time I do hold on to it, it's because it's a brand new hockey puck that has never been used. My hands aggressively smell of rubber afterwards.
Yep.
But yeah, so he apparently saw this in the gift shop and immediately thought that I should own it. So now I have the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia hockey puck. I do not know what I will do with this because I do not have a hockey stick here in Ottawa. But like, maybe, I don't know, I'll put it somewhere. I have to do like a display. I need a shelf that's not like my dresser to put things up. Like I've got like this, and then I've got my like Rasmus Sandin hockey card, and I don't know, there's a couple of other hockey things I want to put on a shelf, and I don't really have a shelf in my room for this sort of thing. I don't know. But yeah. I didn't even know they made these, to be honest. I didn't even know you could go to the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia and buy a hockey puck.
No. You know what? Funnily enough, neither did I. But no.
Yeah.
Go Simon.
Yeah, he brought it back. He was like, I've got something for you. And I was like, what do you have? And he pulled out this.
Oh.
And I'm going to put it down before my hands smell like rubber forever. Yeah, they smell like rubber. It's too late. It's so like very aggressively smell like rubber. You have like the only problem with hockey pucks, like you got to use them to get rid of the rubber smell. Because well, they are just pucks of rubber, but like once you use them a couple times, they lose the smell, like the new rubber smell. So fortunately, that one's brand spanking new.
Fancy schmancy.
But yeah, anyway, that was just the one thing I wanted to say. I thought it was a cool little thing that I'm like, I now have a hockey puck.
It is.
I guess that's all from us today. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be back on Thursday, I guess.
We will.
I was scheduling things out for the next month or so, actually. I scheduled out as in just like put in our little planner spreadsheet things. Did us all the way out to the draft all the way out till free agency, so the next month-ish. We're about 10 episodes away from the draft and free agency, and that whole crazy weekend that we still have yet to plan out how we're going to do content-wise, and it stresses me out thinking about how busy I'm going to be that weekend.
Oh my god. We won't know peace.
No, I think maybe my gripe with the NHL is that they choose to have their draft, not their draft, they choose to have free agency begin on Canada Day, meaning I cannot enjoy my long weekend without this. Not to say that spending a long weekend with Marcie is not my idea of a fun time, but I was
gonna say, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Emma?
I'm just saying I don't want to go through what I went through last year again on my long weekend.
Well, you know what? You do. So
if Twitter breaks this year again, I actually think I'm going to do something so genuinely drastic. We may have to cancel the podcast.
Don't, because my biggest fear, like genuinely, the worst thing that could possibly happen to me is Twitter breaks again, and I have to find out that one of my dearly beloved players has been traded or has left. And I have to find out by someone tagging me in a screenshot.
It's okay. You know what? I'll just watch Sports Center all day. I'll probably be parked in front of my TV watching Sports Center all day. And my parents will be like, "Hey, do you want to go do something?" I'm like, "No."
No.
No. I gotta know. I gotta know if Chris Johnson says anything on TSN.
We have to be the first.
Twitter is broken. I have to know. Because I definitely had like a signing broken to me because I couldn't get Twitter to load and they announced it on Sports Center. I'm trying to remember if it was either Justin Hall or Michael Bunting. I think it was Michael Bunting.
Please do not mention Justin Hall to me right now. It's a very sensitive topic. I genuinely don't think I'm ever gonna recover from like the amount of emotion I felt from having to find out that he was gone by someone tagging me in a screenshot and just saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I couldn't even see the screenshot to find out who had left because because Twitter was broken. Genuinely up there with like the worst experiences of my whole entire life. Never want to do it again. I don't think I'd survive going through it again.
Yeah. Hopefully we never have to go through that again. Hey, his contract is up in 2 seasons. Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with another episode. As always, you can follow the show wherever you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, and you can follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4th. You can follow Marcie at Twitter at 6Julius. You can follow myself there at Pairview1. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.
Go to a Tobacco coffee shop.